Disturbing charges in a case that grabbed national headlines. What prosecutors are revealing about the man accused of kidnapping a young girl on a camping trip with her family.
The incoming mayor of Saratoga Springs plans to take on homelessness. It's an issue stakeholders are already working on, and how the mayor-elect plans to join the cause.
CBS 6 News starts now.
Good evening, everybody. We start with new details from Stillwater police after a homicide last night. This man, Stephen Surin, accused of stabbing and killing his stepfather.
It happened on Gerba Drive South. Police arrested him around 8 p.m. The 29-year-old facing second-degree murder charges for the death of his stepfather, 61-year-old Richard Nays. He's been arraigned and is now being held in the Saratoga County Correctional Facility without bail.
Donald Trump's request for a mistrial in his $250 million New York fraud case is denied. The former president, his two adult sons, and the Trump Organization's top executives argue that the judge and his law clerk are biased. Judge Arthur Engoron says he stands by each and every ruling he's made throughout the case. Trump and the other defendants are accused of fraudulently inflating his net worth by billions of dollars for financial perks. They deny any wrongdoing. Well, we continue in our Friday now with a live look outside at Schenectady. Kind of a dark night, but a warm day.
Yeah,
a little windy out there, but a nice Friday for sure.
Not too bad out there. Well, let's send things over to Chief Meteorologist Steve LaPointe for a check of that forecast. Steve?
And I hope you and everybody else got a chance to at least soak up a little bit of the warm. 65 degrees at Albany, the highest temperature we've achieved all month. And, well, this is it. The party is pretty much over with a cold front on its way. Temperatures turning much, much cooler as we head into the weekend. But still at this hour, temperatures running at or above 60 from Glens Falls on south through Saratoga Springs. The capital region, upper 50s to low 60s, western New England. Dropping back a little bit, especially north and west, and that's because we have some rain showers up here. Live instant Doppler 6 showing those now. Northwest Saratoga, Warren counties, north and west into Fulton, Hamilton, and Herkimer counties. A few showers pushing into Schoharie County as well. Gradually, this all comes in from the north and west, so expect wet weather to overspread the region this evening. And this, of course, with a cold front that will bring in the sharply cooler conditions. So again, 8, 9 o'clock, everybody dealing with some rainfall here, and this is going to continue kind of on again, off again, right through early to mid-morning tomorrow before we dry it out for the afternoon. Overall, the weekend, not bad. Again, just a lot cooler than the weather we've had the past couple of days.
Steve, thanks. The man accused of kidnapping a 9-year-old girl in Moreau Lake State Park appearing in court for the first time, pleading not guilty.
Craig Ross Jr. is facing a 9-count indictment, charges that include what the district attorney calls heinous offenses. CBS 6's Ashley Kusakonki reports tonight. She was in court this morning.
The first count Craig Ross Jr. is charged with is kidnapping in the first degree. The other charges include assault, abuse, and endangering the welfare of a child. Now, this terrifying abduction caught attention from millions after a girl was innocently riding her bike while camping with her family one night and then taken.
Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty.
46-year-old Craig Ross Jr. faces a 9-count indictment after he allegedly took the girl from the Moreau Lake State Park. The intense search started after the girl went for a bike ride on September 30th while camping with her family.
What we're looking to do is to do our job, and we will do it well, we will do it thoroughly and completely because of the work that has been done and continues to be done by law enforcement to hold this defendant who's committed a heinous, terrible offense against a tender-aged victim.
Just after 6:30 p.m. on October 2nd, the girl was found in a cabinet of Ross's home. But in the indictment, we are learning new details of what took place between the disappearance and the recovery, which includes awful crimes of assault and abuse.
The allegation in the assault charge is that during the course of the commission of a felony or immediate flight therefrom, that the victim in the case suffered physical injury.
New York State Police identified Ross after matching his fingerprints from a ransom note left at the little girl's home to a DWI case in Saratoga in 1999. Ross's charges include kidnapping in the first degree, a Class A1 felony from the abduction, and intent to compel a third person to pay or deliver money or property ransom. That charge alone, if found guilty, faces a minimum of 15 years to life and a maximum of 25 to life. But the judge did outline sentences for whether all 9 charges could run one after the other.
My office is dedicated and committed to pursuing justice on this case for the victim of this matter, and we will work diligently in that respect to have that occur.
The next court appearance will be with the discovery on this case, and that is set for December 21st at 9:30. An online court filing suggests that this could go to a jury trial next April. If you'd like to know further as to what Ross is charged with, we have the unsealed indictment over on our website. Reporting in Boston Spa, Ashley Kuzakonki, CBS 6 News.
Thank you for that, Ashley. Mayor-elect of Saratoga Springs, John Safford, says mitigating homelessness will be one of his priorities when he takes office, and has a particular system he wants to see used more, the Community Outreach Corps. RISE says it has made a major impact for individuals in the city. Tonight we ask how they've done it and how the mayor plans to capitalize off its success.
It was just a revolving door from arrest, release, and then the result, the recidivism that follows, and it was just not working for anybody.
To help solve that problem, RISE Healthy Housing and Support Services implemented their Community Outreach Corps in Saratoga Springs.
Sometimes at the time of arrest, if, the responding officer is informed that this person is street homeless, this is the court docket they're going to put them on.
Since it started 3 years ago, 80% of the individuals they've worked with have appeared at all of their court dates. 70% arrest-free during the case.
We know where they are in the community. So, at times it really looks like going into an encampment of the woods, picking somebody up, giving them a ride in the van and bringing them.
Connors gives major credit to Judge Francine Vero, who steers an individual to a resource or organization that can help them take the next step in life. Mayor-elect John Safford says it's a system he wants to enhance once he takes office.
The police have to be interested in handing those tickets out.
Yeah.
And that has not been the case.
It's a piece of what he hopes will be more action taken to help individuals experiencing homelessness find a new life, and that he'll be working with the county to create more synergy between resources.
If we can get the homeless court and the sheriff's office kind of working together to help people actually start moving.
We would love to expand this into other municipalities. We would love to have partnership with the county on something similar at a county level.
When it releases its report in the coming months, Ron Kim's Homelessness Task Force is expected to help diagnose partnerships like that, along with evaluating the success of the low barrier shelter, which, speaking of partnerships, has worked well with the court.
I can think of one particular gentleman that we have over there that has been there since day one, almost completely nonverbal, without much other intervention other than safety, stability, having a place to clean himself and to eat every day. He's talking again.
There are 30 beds at Saratoga's low barrier shelter. Safford says the wait list is at 80. He believes a stronger partnership with the county. Organizations can help use more of those resources to help more people.
The House Ethics Chairman wants George Santos out. Mississippi Republican Michael Guest introducing a resolution to expel the New York Republican from Congress. This one day after the Ethics Committee released a scathing report saying Santos tried to exploit his position for financial benefits. It's unclear if Republicans will vote to expel him, as they've been counting on his vote in the razor-thin majority, but some say they will.
I think you will see more and more members voting for that, and it'll be maybe a close vote, but I think he will be expelled if he doesn't resign. I hope he resigns before we get to that point.
Santos says he won't run for re-election, but intends to finish out his term. Lawmakers will vote on the measure after the Thanksgiving holiday. And new details on just how Santos allegedly spent his campaign funds are now being revealed. According to CBS News, the House Ethics Committee report details alleged spending on luxury stores, resorts in Atlantic City, OnlyFans, and even Botox payments. Santos says the report is biased and continues to deny any wrongdoing. Two law enforcement sources say New York City police are not actively investigating recording artist and producer Sean Diddy Combs. According to those sources, NYPD does not currently have a complaint on file against him. Diddy's former girlfriend, R&B singer Cassie, sued him in federal court in New York on Thursday, saying she was raped and suffered years of physical and mental abuse at his hands. An attorney for Combs calling the allegations offensive and outrageous, saying Combs denies them and that Cassie's motivation is financial.
Community members in Albany joining together for a traffic violence vigil today. The vigil is in honor of all those who have died in traffic-related accidents in the city since 2013 and in honor of World Day of Remembrance for traffic crash victims. Advocates say they're looking to make some demands of city leaders, all in an effort to make the roads safer. Some of the demands include reducing the city speed limit to 25 miles per hour.
We don't want to have more families needlessly have to put up with such tragedies, because they are needless tragedies. We know how to make our roads safer so that these things don't happen. It's just finding the political will to get it done.
They're also asking to install speed cameras in school zones and follow the recommendations of the Washington Park study, which would make the park safe for cyclists and pedestrians too.
Several Capital Region Dunkin' Donuts and U.S. Marine Corps volunteers celebrating the holiday season with a shopping spree as part of the Toys for Tots campaign. It's made possible through a $25,000 donation from Dunkin' and will help get toys delivered to kids across the state.
The first year I got to ride the train and just to see the faces on these children, it was amazing. Like for them to just get a toy on Christmas that otherwise they might not have gotten one, the faces and just that part of it is just worth every single thing, and we've done it ever since for 15 years because of that.
Dunkin's holiday campaign raising $425,000 so far. The goal to distribute toys to as many as 200,000 children. Well, still to come, a shocking social media trend. TikTok hits back at reports.
What young people are sharing about Osama bin Laden.
Israeli and Ukrainian leaders putting pressure on Washington to send more aid. I'm Atra El-Nashar on Capitol Hill with the debate about how involved the U.S. should get.
Welcome back. A new trend on TikTok recently raising a lot of eyebrows. Dozens of young Americans expressing sympathy with Osama bin Laden. They have posted videos on the social media site promoting a letter to the notorious terrorist wrote 2 decades ago. The letter attempts to justify the targeting of American civilians and critiques the government and its support of Israel. Videos on the topic have garnered millions of views, some expressing sympathy with the letter, others expressing disgust. According to TikTok, videos promoting the letter violate its rules against supporting any form of terrorism. TikTok says reports of videos supporting the letter were exaggerated. Meanwhile, lawmakers in Congress have gone home for the Thanksgiving holiday without a plan to provide aid for Israel and Ukraine.
Leaders from both countries making urgent pleas for Washington to act quickly, but as national correspondent Atra El-Nashar reports, there's disagreement about how the U.S. should respond.
There's no shortage of global security challenges from the Indo-Pacific to the Middle East to Eastern Europe, and Washington must decide if and how much aid it should provide.
Please help us. We not ask send your soldiers. We ask continue to keep this support.
Ukrainian leaders say they desperately need more assistance for their fight against Russia. And in Israel,
I expect that all Americans who hear us now will understand this, to back Israel.
In an interview with Punchbowl News, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCaul said while visiting Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told a group of lawmakers, "I need ammo, ammo, and ammo yesterday." In late October, President Biden asked Congress to pass nearly $106 billion to address needs of Ukraine, Israel, humanitarian aid in Gaza, and counter threats from China and strengthen U.S. border security. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell agrees the global threats are intertwined and should be addressed as such.
From adversaries like Russia, China, and Iran.
Not all Republicans are on the same page.
Republicans disagree amongst themselves about exactly how we should respond to the Ukraine question.
Some eager to pass a standalone bill for Israel, holding off on Ukraine, arguing the U.S. has done enough. Democrats, with the exception of a handful of progressives, back the president's request, insisting they not be separated into different bills.
I hope we can come to an agreement, even if neither side gets everything they insist on.
All of this could come down to how they address the U.S. southern border. The two parties are at odds about where the line is between border security and immigration policy and how far beyond the president's request they should go. There is a bipartisan group working on this, and they are expected to continue talks over their Thanksgiving recess. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Well, at this hour, still tracking some pretty mild weather. Capital region temperature right at 60 degrees. Downtown Albany, it is like a wind tunnel here, though. It's been very, very gusty as expected today, so that's taking the edge off a little bit. It's our Freihofer sky camera shot. We're dry right now, but that's not going to last too much longer. We do have showers stacked up just north and west. Temperature now at Lake Pleasant down to 50 where the rain is falling. But Glens Falls, 60, 61 Saratoga Springs. We got low 60s. Southern Vermont, the Berkshires from Bennington on south to North Adams with Pittsfield checking in at 57. This is mild. Today was the warmest day of the entire month. And, well, we're not going to eclipse it because the air coming in next couple of days certainly a lot cooler, and the longer-term trend suggesting it's going to stay pretty chilly for us for the foreseeable future. Overnight tonight, we'll see temperatures down into the low 30s in the Adirondacks, but for much of the rest of the area, generally 40s. So we should maintain fairly mild conditions throughout the night tonight, but there won't be a lot of temperature uptick during the day tomorrow, despite some sunshine developing. I think we're going to hold fairly steady. There's our cold front. Here's the zone of rainfall that's to our west. There's a bunch of it. Most of it is light. Could be a couple of moderate elements at times coming in later this evening and overnight tonight. You can see the general progress. Things have really lit up here through the afternoon. Western central New York into central Pennsylvania getting the showers. Again, just north and west of the capital region. A lot of northeast motion. It's a slower eastward trek, but it is coming. And in the next couple of hours, we'll see it moving on in. Live instant Doppler 6, so our live local look at the radar showing it's just northwest of Saratoga Springs, just west of Glens Falls right now. Fulton County getting it into Montgomery County as well, just to the north and west of Cobleskill. So again, the general motion is like this. So next couple of hours, expect the wet weather to overspread the region. That's what we're showing here in our simulation at 7 o'clock. Areas from Albany north and west, likely with the rainfall. Still dry. Berkshire's Mid-Hudson Valley, but by 8 to 9 o'clock, look for showers to move into your area. And by midnight, scattered rain, and that's going to continue through the early to potentially mid-morning on Saturday, showing what the radar could look like around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with showers Hudson Valley, western New England. And then it should pull out pretty quickly. So the front moves east, the wind will shift into the north and west. It's going to dry us out and clear the clouds out. So I expect increasing amounts of sunshine. So from that aspect, Saturday's looking good, but it will be fairly windy and temperatures will be a lot cooler. So for most of us during the day, look for the numbers to kind of range through the mid to upper 40s. Mid-30s for the Adirondacks, winds gusting upwards of 25 takes the edge off. All things good, though, for the Schenectady Block Party and Holiday Parade. Block Party kicks off at 3 o'clock on State Street and the parade at 5. Just dress for a typical November chill, as the numbers will be slipping back into the 30s through the course of the evening. And keep in mind, it will be fairly windy, so there'll be a bit of a wind chill here. But most importantly, it will be clearing and it will be dry, so no issues with precipitation. Now, as we get into Sunday, it's a cool day, probably a little bit windier with gusts up to around 30. May see a few low 50s mid-Hudson Valley, otherwise low to mid-40s. And there'll be some lake effect coming down the Mohawk Valley. So even early Sunday morning, Mohawk Valley capital region could be a mixed rain or snow shower, and we may see a few more of those through the course of the afternoon. Most of Sunday for most of us will average out dry, but again, keep in mind there will be that potential for a passing mixed rain and snow shower with a lot of clouds mixed with some sunshine. Then we jump ahead, late Tuesday night to Wednesday. No real change in thinking here. Cold high pressure moves east, and this storm system spreads moisture, and we're still going to watch for the potential at some point late Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening for some wintry mixed precipitation at the onset for parts of the area. But largely this storm will be a rainmaker. It could be some very heavy rain with it. It should move out by later Wednesday afternoon, leaving us dry for Thanksgiving. But certainly the timing not great for potentially snaring some travel, and we'll watch for a bit of slipperiness again for a time Tuesday night. Temperatures you can see quite cool, forecasting a high near 40 for Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Steve. Coming up in sports, devastating injuries rocking the Bengals and Ravens in Thursday Night Football.
Details on the injury status of both Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow and Ravens tight end Mark Andrews.
A lot of college students struggling to graduate. How one New York school is using artificial intelligence to help them succeed.
And more Americans are skipping vaccines this season. Why health officials say that's alarming.
And now, CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by your local upstate Chevy dealers.
Some big injuries taking place last night in the Thursday night football matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and Baltimore Ravens. I was trying to watch, and left and right, everyone was going down.
Yeah, the biggest injury now ruling quarterback Joe Burrow of the Bengals out for the year after suffering a torn ligament in his wrist. He suffered that injury in the second quarter. It's a crushing blow to Cincinnati, who ultimately lost this one 34-20 and could miss the postseason. The Bengals' playoff chances dropped significantly. They now share the same 5-5 record as their AFC rival, the Buffalo Bills. Meantime, this injury came very early in the game for Baltimore. Tight end Mark Andrews likely suffering a season-ending ankle injury after getting tackled awkwardly by Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson.
Two of Major League Baseball's biggest stars were named MVP of the American and National Leagues last night. Angels designated hitter and pitcher Shohei Ohtani awarded American League MVP, led the AL with 44 home runs and pitched in 23 starts. He won 10 games on the year. Meanwhile, Atlanta Braves right fielder Ronald Acuna Jr. won National League MVP. He hit 41 home runs. He also led the National League. He had 73 stolen bases.
Major League Baseball's competition committee now considering new rule changes to the new pitch clock. The proposed change would leave pitchers just 18 seconds between pitches whenever someone is on base. The motivation behind decreasing the pitch clock is to speed up gameplay. 2023 is the first season that Major League Baseball has implemented a pitch clock, which is currently 20 seconds.
Coming up, an entrepreneur's plan to open a cannabis dispensary in downtown Albany, years in the making.
It's coming to a part of town with a lot of vacancies and getting some positive words from lawmakers.
Black Friday, a week away. Some hot items you can get a deal on and the others that you should probably wait on too. And parents, when picking up those toys this season, be aware of some risky items. What you can do to keep your kids safe.
CBS 6 News starts now.
Welcome back, and first at 5:30. Your top stories and weather headlines. Here's what you need to know.
Craig Ross Jr., the man accused of kidnapping a young girl at Moreau Lake State Park in September, pleading not guilty today in his first public court appearance. Charges include kidnapping and disturbing charges for assault and abuse.
A Stillwater man is in custody for the stabbing death of his 61-year-old father. Stephen Surin was taken into custody last night.
The House Ethics Chair, a Republican, will push through another expulsion vote for Long Island Congressman George Santos. It's unclear if his fellow Republicans will vote in favor of kicking him out. He has survived previous votes. In-depth coverage on all of these stories online. Just head to CBS6Albany.com.
And as we transition to very mild weather to much cooler weather this weekend, we get a period of rain this evening, overnight tonight. Live instant Doppler 6 showing it north and west of the capital region, west of Glens Falls, still northwest of Saratoga Springs. It's in Fulton, Montgomery counties, and it is heading off to the east-southeast. So that is our most immediate future here. Wet weather coming in. Plan for that over the next couple of hours, but I do see drier weather for the weekend. But again, much cooler weather for the weekend as well. Looking at just how much temperatures will be dropping off coming up in the next few minutes.
You can get your weather updates anytime with the CBS 6 Weather Authority app. Find that in your app store. Search WRGB.
All new at 5:30, the city of Albany is one step closer to housing a cannabis retail store.
One entrepreneur is hoping to open a storefront next year. CBS 6's Emma Quinn has more on the shop and their location of choice.
Come 2024, downtown Albany will be home to Mr. Good Vibes Cannabis Shop. The owner is Albany native Amin Cowan.
I feel great. I feel elated. I feel like this was a step in the right direction.
Cowan's dream has been 3 years in the making. The plan is to hire 25 employees, create new jobs, and set an example for the next generation.
We want to bring some diversity to the area. We want to show the community that we could thrive in any setting. Like we want to show that we could all get along and be successful together.
Cowan's shop will be located in the old Cider Belly Donut store on Pearl Street, less than half a mile from the MVP Arena. One business coming could be the spark needed to liven up a desolate downtown.
I think downtown's been really impacted by the lingering effects of the pandemic. The state workforce isn't as big of a presence in downtown as they have been over the past several decades with remote work and just people changing the way they go to work.
For example, in 2017, the Albany Central Ave BID had 3 vacancies out of the 265 businesses in their jurisdiction. After the pandemic, the number of vacancies jumped to 95.
Right now, we're suffering in downtown Albany, and I do believe that a venture such as this will spur other activity. I'm excited about it, and I do know that this will be an example, can be an example of what can be done in downtown.
Cowan and his team are waiting for their adult use cannabis license to be processed. The goal is to be open at the start of the new year. In Albany, Emma Quinn, CBS 6 News.
Governor Kathy Hochul announcing a $44 million investment into SUNY Polytechnic Institute. The money will expand the health science wing and update nursing labs, as well as create a semiconductor lab and a robotic research and education lab.
And today we're the proud home of 470,000 Czech jobs already, and they are growing. And we are diverse as well, and that's what's so important. A lot of other states may have tech jobs, but we lean into our diversity. We have more individuals who are Black and Hispanic, more women in these jobs than ever before. But we can't have one moment of complacency. We must continue reaching into these communities and letting people know that these are the jobs of the future. If you come into our institutions like SUNY Poly, there is no stopping you. You'll have great opportunities to use your talents, but also to support your families on good-sized paychecks, and that's what this is about.
The investment builds on $72 million in renovations already in development on campus. A college degree can lead to better jobs and higher wages, but nationwide, nearly 40% of students drop out before graduating. One college in New York is now using AI to help spot at-risk students and get them to the finish line. John Jay College educates thousands of students each year, and in the past 2 years, they've done something remarkable. The graduation rate jumping from 50% to more than 80%. Now, here's how they managed that, sharing 10 years of student data with nonprofit DataKind, which analyzed it through artificial intelligence.
It just narrows and helps us focus and target the student population that we really need to work with.
Some of it is grades and enrollment and whether or not attendance is high, but there are other factors that John Jay brought to that conversation because they know their student body.
Many students are Hispanic and Black, statistically less likely to graduate than white and Asian peers. This allows John Jay advisors to proactively reach out before their students are really struggling. The DataKind program has been so successful that it's expanding to multiple public colleges in New York City. They hope it will eventually expand across the country.
Black Friday sales are right around the corner. In-store and online retailers are having some of their biggest price cuts on the popular items. It's a great time to purchase electronics, and you can expect big price drops on TVs, tablets, smartphones, and computers. But there are some items that have deeper discounts at other times of the year.
Furniture and mattresses will go on sale around Black Friday, but the deals usually aren't as good as what you'll see around holidays like President's Day, Memorial Day.
Items that tend to have deeper discounts after the new year include those furniture and mattresses, bedding and linens, jewelry, along with fitness equipment. Well, ahead of that holiday shopping season, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group released its yearly toy report to warn families what not to buy. Myra Franco shares what parents should be on the lookout for when they are out shopping, especially as recalls pose a risk and so-called smart toys also pose dangers that you may not expect.
Toy catalogs are beginning to come home for parents, grandparents, caregivers. We're flooded with choices.
With the holidays around the corner and stores decked out with toys, gifts, and gadgets, families are now brainstorming for Christmas wish list ideas. Also thinking of your list, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group Education Fund. Its 37th annual Trouble in Toyland report reveals some disturbing findings regarding smart toys.
Now, these toys can be totally neat, but smart toys come with unique risks that fall into two main categories. The first is lax security protocols, and the second is enabling unnecessary data collection about kids that can threaten their safety.
By enabling hackers to spy on and even speak to your children if they gain access to the toy.
Smart toys are high-tech components like microphones and cameras Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connections, artificial intelligence software, or companion apps that you have to download. Smart toys come in lots of forms.
And once that toy is connected to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, if the hacker finds the device name and connects to it, he or she can get in. With smart toys now coming in lots of forms, such as cars and gadgets you can control with an app, and talking dolls that kids can have conversations with, almost any toy can be a gateway into your home for a hacker.
This can pose immediate safety concerns if your child's location data is exposed, and it can increase the odds that your family can become victim of scam or frauds or identity theft if the information is leaked.
Something the U.S. PIRG says it hopes to help you avoid with this year's annual toy report warning.
That was Myra Franco reporting. The U.S. PIRG recommends if you purchase a smart toy, use secure Wi-Fi. Create a strong password if the toy gives you that option. Turn off the toy when it's not in use and place it somewhere out of reach. Stay on top of those security updates and supervise when in use.
The CDC releasing more than 70,000 additional doses of the RSV vaccine for children. The drug was approved in August, but already high demand is leading to shortages in clinics and hospitals across the country. Until the new doses arrive, federal officials are recommending doctors prioritize infants most at risk of RSV. The disease is the leading cause of hospitalizations in infants. The CDC recommending the shot for infants under 8 months of age and certain high-risk toddlers up to age 2.
Public health officials want everyone to be up to date on vaccines to prevent the top 3 circulating viruses, COVID, the flu, and RSV. But an overwhelming majority of the U.S. aren't. As of the end of October, the CDC reports more than 15 million people had gotten the newest COVID vaccine. That's less than 5% of the population. Medical reporter Barbara Moore spoke to a public health expert about why this is concerning.
We're calling it the 2023-24 updated COVID shot. It is effective. It does work.
That's why infectious diseases expert Dr. Philip Chan is concerned about the lower vaccine numbers.
There is complacency, and I think people are tired of talking about it, and I do think it's affecting vaccine rates as well.
Fact remains, COVID may not be as widespread, dangerous, or deadly, but it is here to stay. The latest statistics from the CDC show numbers are down pretty much across the board, but people are still being hospitalized, thousands per week, and people still die from this virus every day. So who are the top priorities to receive this latest COVID vaccine?
If you have health conditions, if you're immunocompromised, if you're older, 65 years of age or older, you really, really should be getting this vaccine.
And it's not the only one that should be on your list.
Flu kills tens of thousands of people every year. Flu is a big problem. Prior to COVID, it was one of our worst respiratory viruses that we worry about. RSV is a significant problem, especially in people that are younger, young kids, and folks that are older, certainly above the age of 75. And so this time the vaccine is recommended for pregnant moms and in older adults too, who should consider getting the RSV vaccine. The good news is that we do have vaccines now for all 3 of these respiratory viruses, which is exciting. Obviously, it's a little bit complicated about who should get them. There's some nuances.
That's why Dr. Chan says it's a good idea to check in with your healthcare provider, as that person knows you best. I'm medical reporter Barbara Morse.
We have some breaking news just coming into our newsroom. New Hampshire State Police say a suspect is dead and a situation contained. This after a shooting at a hospital in Concord, about an hour north of Massachusetts. This is a live look at the area right now from above. Police initially responded. It was just after 4 this afternoon. We know there were multiple victims. No word on any of their conditions right now or how many people were shot. We'll continue to update throughout the newscast and online. Inflation has U.S. spending more for a lot of things, and not just food, housing, and travel.
Still to come, what it means for the price of fun. And some industry leaders say grocery prices are coming down. How soon to expect the savings?
This cold and flu season, you may find yourself on the market for a humidifier. We'll break down which features you'll want to get, especially if you have kids.
Lower grocery prices may be on the way for shoppers. The CEO of Walmart says the U.S. food industry may be heading into a period of deflation after 3 years of price hikes. Food prices increasing 25% since the pandemic started. CEO Doug McMillon says consumers could see lower prices in the coming weeks and months, with Walmart possibly entering a deflation environment. Walmart is the largest retailer in the United States, and groceries make up more than half of its sales.
Well, inflation has pushed up the cost of basic needs like food and rent, but also the price to have fun. The National Desk, Angela Brown explains.
What's the connection between the Beehive, Swifties, and the GDP?
I think that memories are worth more than money.
You guessed it, money spent on concerts and a quirky play on words called funflation. MarketWatch defines it as the recent boom in consumer spending on entertainment and experiences, with a high demand running up the cost of enjoying those experiences. Ted Rossman, Bankrate.
This summer was actually busier for travel than last summer. It was a huge summer for concerts. Sports attendance is way up. People have cut back on physical goods spending, but they're really prioritizing the experience.
Funflation comes with a price. The CEO of Best Buy blames slipping sales on shoppers splurging on experiences rather than a TV, something we heard from Swifties going to the Taylor Swift concert.
I just think that these moments are going to live on in my mind and with my friends forever.
The GDP grew by 4.9% in the third quarter. Consumer spending helped to push up the GDP. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
All right, hope you had a chance to enjoy today. 65 degrees, the official high in the capital region right at Albany. That is the highest temperature we've had all month, and it's a temperature we will not achieve again for some time. The party is pretty much over. Cold front in the process of approaching, moving through overnight tonight, and that will have us chilling down. 40s to around 50 tomorrow, 40s for Sunday, only about 40 coming up on Monday, and then 40s in the run-up here to the Thanksgiving holiday, with likely another big drop in temperatures, I think, by the holiday. We extend this out, 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Eastern half of the country still favored for below average temperatures. This will round out the month of November and take us into very early December here. It is looking definitely chilly for us. At least the probabilities are certainly favoring that. Let's take you outside right now where it is still at least temporarily mild. We're looking at Albany from the East Greenbush Freihoffer sky camera, showing a temperature of 60, also showing that very strong gusty wind. That was the rub today. The breeze taking the edge off the temperatures a little bit, but south wind again on the warmer side of this front. You can see a big area of rainfall stacked just to the north and west of the capital region right now. And again, it is making progress east. There's more of a southwest to northeastward motion with the individual rain elements, but the whole area is moving east. So that is the trend for the evening. Expect the rain to come in from the west-northwest. Everybody gets wet, especially by about 8 to 9 o'clock. Right now, it's still just west of Saratoga Springs and Glens Falls in our live instant Doppler 6. Some perhaps moderate elements of rain into northwestern Saratoga, Hamilton, and Fulton counties right now. Some lighter showers into Otsego County, all again moving in this direction. So everybody eventually gets wet. Our simulation showing most of it still running from about Albany north and west at 7 o'clock, then spreading into Vermont, Mid-Hudson Valley, Berkshires through midnight tonight. We'll continue with some on-again, off-again showers through early to mid-morning on Saturday, but this will largely be out of here, leaving us generally dry through the day. I do expect a gusty northwesterly wind tomorrow. That's going to blow in the cooler air, but it's also going to blow out the clouds, so we'll have increasing amounts of sunshine through the afternoon. So overall, it's not a bad day. It's just a lot chillier than it's been the past 2 days, with temperatures generally ranging overnight tonight through the 40s, and we won't see much of a temperature jump coming up tomorrow despite increasing amounts of sunshine. May just get into the upper 40s to around 50 by 1, 2 o'clock before the numbers start to slide after that. Again, keep in mind the wind will be up, gusting to 25, so that'll give the day a chilly feel. Headed to the Adirondacks, look for highs in the mid-30s. That's our local cool spot. Gloversville tomorrow about 43, 46 Bennington, and closer to 50 in the Mid-Hudson Valley. Sunday's temperatures similar. I think we've got more clouds Sunday, and the wind perhaps even stronger, gusting to around 30. This is not going to be an easy weekend for leaf cleanup either day because of the gusty breezes. And on Sunday, some lake effect comes down the Mohawk Valley. So even early in the morning, a mixed rain or snow shower kind of in this zone, which would include the capital region and southern Vermont. Into the afternoon, an isolated mixed rain or snow shower. Most areas dry most of the time Sunday, but keep in mind there could be that passing rain or snow shower. Then into next week, large storm system still looks to impact impact the area from late Tuesday into Wednesday. Chilly high pressure Tuesday moves away. I think most of the day is dry, but late afternoon, evening, I think we do get a wintry mix. There could be at least a brief period of some snow, sleet, and freezing rain, especially in high elevation locations, to perhaps produce some slipperiness. But this largely will be a rainmaker, and there could be some heavy rain into Wednesday morning. By later Wednesday, it pulls out. So in terms of travel, conditions will improve the second half of Wednesday, and it will lead to a dry but chilly Thanksgiving Day. So 40s here for the next couple of days, only about 40, but bright with light wind on Monday. We're watching the wintry mix potential for some of us for time Tuesday night, going over to rain before ending late Wednesday, and then 40, but dry for Thanksgiving.
All right, Steve, thanks. Well, it's that time of year. You may want to set up a humidifier, but they aren't all made equal, and how you use them can make a difference.
Consumer Reports has some top tips you won't want to miss.
And a seasonal tradition for the entire family, how you can kick off the holidays with the model train show when we come back.
Tickets for the annual CBS 6 Melodies of Christmas are now on sale. The show will be at Proctor's Theater December 14th through the 17th. All seats $36 each, and you can buy them online at proctors.org. The net proceeds from this event benefit the Melody Center for Childhood Cancers and Blood Disorders at Albany Med. For more information on this year's show, search Melodies of Christmas at cbs6albany.com. Well, with drier winter air plus cold and flu season here, a humidifier can help your family sleep more comfortably. But if you're using a humidifier around an infant or a small child, you want one that's safe for the nursery.
In tonight's Consumer Report, CBS 6's Julia Dunn shares which humidifiers are best for babies, along with tips on how to keep them clean for everyone in the family.
Consumer Reports can't promise that your baby's going to sleep through the night, but a humidifier can help your child sleep more comfortably when they do sleep. But before you go out and buy any humidifier, Consumer Reports has some advice.
In a nursery or a child's room, you want to make sure things are really safe. So Consumer Reports recommends that you get a cool mist humidifier. A warm mist humidifier, which heats water, has the potential to scald if there's an accident.
In this climate-controlled chamber, CR's testers run the humidifiers overnight and keep track of how many gallons of water each one emits per square foot. And while moist air can help alleviate congestion and dry skin, overly humid air can lead to the growth of mold and bacteria. Ideally, you want a relative humidity between 30 and 50% inside your home. This recommended Levoit Dual 200S Smart for smaller rooms has a built-in humidistat, which turns off the unit when the humidity reaches a desired level. But if your humidifier doesn't have a humidistat, you can measure the humidity yourself with a tool called a hygrometer. Some are available for less than $10. Then you can consider this $30 Aqua Oasis AO101 without a humidistat. For bigger rooms, 300 to 500 square feet, this Lasco UH200 is a smart buy. And finally, a humidifier that isn't cleaned well can spur the growth of potentially harmful mold and bacteria, which could make you or your baby sick. Consumer Reports recommends rinsing and drying the tank thoroughly every day and sanitizing the unit with vinegar once a week. This is Julia Dunn reporting.
Well, the holiday season is upon us, and what better way to get into the holiday spirit than to enjoy the sights and sounds of model trains?
There they are. The annual Albany Train Show is coming to Polish Community Center tomorrow from 9 until 3. It'll feature all different layouts with different gauges of trains for the non-collector. That means scales, some big, some small. There's really something for everybody, especially if you have kids or looking to get into what's commonly known as the world's greatest hobby. Admission is $5 for adults, and kids under 12 are also free.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, looks like great.
All right, well, still to come tonight, the incoming mayor of Saratoga Springs planning to take on homelessness.
It's an issue stakeholders are already working on, how the mayor-elect plans to join the cause.
Tonight on CBS 6 News, a man accused of kidnapping a 9-year-old girl from Moreau Lake State Park arraigned on multiple charges today. We'll share details of his day in court straight ahead.
Plus, victims of traffic crashes and violence remembered in Albany today. What advocates are now pushing